Hello and welcome to Political Paradigm. I'm Terry Ikumi. Well, we're continuing our conversation on the Osun governorship election coming up on the 15th of August. Well, it may seem like it's far away, but it's almost here, and politics is taking different dimensions now as far as that state is concerned. Last week, we spoke with the APC arm. Well, better still, the APC party that will be contesting the election. We spoke with the Director General of the APC Governorship Campaign Council, Honorable Adeleke, who is also a member of the House of Representatives. He made some allegations, and we have now a member from the governor's camp, boldly, because he represents the governor in this instance, in his constituency. The governor is his constituent. Honorable Bamidele Salam represents Egbedore Ejigbo Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, and he's a member of the Accord Party, just like Governor Adeleke. Welcome to Political Paradigm.
Thank you so much, Terry. It's a pleasure being here.
It's a pleasure to have you. You're here because last week we spoke with Honorable Adeleke, your friend and colleague in the House of Representatives, until quite recently. I think the friendship still exists.
Oh, of course.
It's just that the politics has
we
to
are
be
still
played.
friends and colleagues. We just don't belong to the same political family any longer.
But how does that feel? I mean, you were both in the People's Democratic Party, and he fell out to the governor. And then he's now moved to the APC. You're now with the governor. I like to think that you moved to the governor because, I mean, he's your constituent.
Yeah.
But how does it feel, and why did you choose to make that switch?
Well, maybe he will be in a better position to say why he left the camp that made him. But I am proudly associating with the governor because that is the camp that made me. That is the political family in which I grew my political teeth. And I've been able to accomplish all that I have by the grace of God in politics. And I feel that one good turn deserves another. If the political camp to which the governor belongs has dedicated their time and resources into helping people to occupy position, I think people should actually reciprocate that by being very loyal to the cause. And so apart from the governor being my constituent, he's also my leader. And he moved into the Accord as a result of the obvious collapse of the People's Democratic Party. And I, together with 5 other members of the House of Representatives, moved together with the governor into the Accord. And we have no regret whatsoever because he deserves that loyalty, he deserves that support, and the state deserves a continuity of the Adeleke government after the expiration of its first term.
Is this political survival or political loyalty?
It is loyalty. I mean, if you talk about survival, you only talk about where there is a threat to existence. There is actually none as far as Osun State is concerned. Osun is very well with the Accord. The people of Osun State have tried the governor. The people of Osun State have also tried his political tendency over and over, and they are very satisfied with him. Don't forget, Terry, it's a streak of victories and success. In 2017, when the governor came into the People's Democratic Party to contest for the senatorial seat in 2017, he won 9 out of 10 local governments. And then fast forward to 2018, when the governorship election held at that time, he won that election. You remember the bringing up of this inconclusive theory. Yeah. But at the first ballot, the governor won. The second ballot was suppressed by the APC then. But of course, it was very obvious that Adeleke also won that election. And then 2022, he won that election also, very convincingly. So it's a streak of success, and he has justified that mandate. He has successfully earned, even greater acceptability than he had when he defeated the incumbent governor in 2022. So, anyone who is very committed to people's welfare will be proud to associate with him. So it's not about survival. It's about, doing the right thing and aligning with the aspiration of the majority of our people.
Let's talk about some matters arising, one of which is the issue with the INEC rec. Is the Accord Party at home now with the decision to transfer the INEC rec?
No, we are not at home with it. We believe that decision is ill-informed. That decision also appears to be driven by some partisan, consideration. With due respect to whoever authorized that in the top echelon of the of the INEC, we believe that there's no precedence to that. When resident electoral commissioners prepare for election, a lot of things go into it. And you don't come in the middle of that preparation, 3-4 months to an election, and then transfer a resident electoral commissioner without any basis whatsoever. So as a party, the Accord, we are against that decision by the INEC, and we believe very strongly that the INEC leadership needs to reconsider that decision so that it does not taint its credibility and does not give fuel to the speculation that there are some people somewhere who are tinkering with the independence granted to the INEC by the Nigerian Constitution and by the Electoral Act. We believe that decision was done without any justification and without noble intent.
You know, the All Progressives Congress, what we know is that the All Progressives Congress, and I think the NNPP, had written the petition against Mr. Mutiu, who was redeployed, to accuse him of the same partisanship that you now say is the basis for the decision to remove him.
All right, Terry, when you talk about writing petition, all I can recall, in the last couple of weeks, there have been more than 20 petitions against the INEC chairman himself. Does it mean he should resign? Does it mean he should be removed? When there's a petition against anyone, the principle of fair hearing demands that he be allowed to respond to those allegations in the petition. Before the last election in Anambra State, I can recall that there are quite a number of petitions against the REC in Anambra State. Was he transferred? Before the election in Ondo, the present person who was transferred from Ondo to come and be REC in Osun had petitions, including court cases, instituted against her by major players, by concerned citizens, by civil society organizations. Was she removed? Why should the case of Osun be different? What are the petitions? If anybody, whoever, assert must prove. Those who are making the allegation should show proof to the effect that the man who was removed as the REC, had any partisan, bias. All they didn't want is someone who will be fair, who will be balanced. They didn't want somebody who will do the job professionally. That's what they don't want. They just want someone that they can, finger his or her brain and command and do whatever. But it will not even work. Forget about whoever they even bring. The people of Osun State are determined and ready to re-elect Governor Adeleke as the governor of the state. And if they like, let them change anything that they want to change. We are on course. As long as it has to do with election, Adeleke will emerge victorious.
Fair enough. Let's go into the allegations now against Governor Adeleke by the APC. One of which is the issue of education. I recall speaking with Honorable Adeleke, who said that the number of classrooms renovated and schools refurbished or materials distributed at school are false as displayed by the governor. And he went on to question the sacking of the teachers hired by Governor Oyetola just before the end of his tenure. The governor on his part had said that the process was flawed. But he said that if the governor had thought about it very well, especially considering the welfare of the people, that he would not have gone on to sack. It's interesting that 3.5 years into this administration, we're still talking about teachers that were fired just before the end of the previous administration. All
right, Terry, I watched that interview with my colleague, Honorable Adeleke, and I was a little bit embarrassed that an experienced politician and a ranking member of the Hallowed Chamber of the National Assembly will come on the national television to spew out falsehood and half-truth in some instances. It's so unfortunate. Let me take the issues one after the other. Let me take the last one, which has to do with the issue of allegation of sacking of some teachers employed. Now, Governor Oyetola was governor for Osun for 4 years. And for the 4 years that he was governor, for the first 1 year, he did some recruitment of a few teachers into the teaching service after advertising and selling forms to thousands of eligible persons. And of course, everybody came on board. But shortly after he lost that election, he hurriedly took on a process of recruiting teachers. Now, we're not even against, you can, as long as you are still in government, you can do whatever is right. But Terry, you will not support a situation where a new governor comes in and discovers that majority of those who were so hurriedly, employed by that government were not people that were qualified to be teachers in our public schools. Some persons who had no even 3 credits in their school certificate examination, some persons whose result was 3rd class or pass, and people recruited not in the area of need. Now, why did he wait until he lost an election before he remembered all of a sudden that he could recruit teachers? And then recruiting the teachers, he filled up that list with list of cronies and friends and members of the political party who were not qualified to be employed as teachers in our public school. Now, that is not the kind of government that we would have thought that, that we will continue with. And the governor made that very clear at the outset that he was going to review that process, and that process has been reviewed, and the governor has recruited teachers to replace those set of ones that were relieved as a result of the flawed process. This is a process. You take an exam, you have an interview, you have all manner of screening. All those things were done away with by the administration of Mr. Boyega Itola, only because he was in a hurry to fill up that space before he left office. And we felt that could not stand. Now, on the issue of whether anything has been done in the education sector, Terry, I want to tell you that a lot has happened in the last 3.5 years. Apart from the fact that over 250 public schools have been renovated, teachers recruited, like we just said, instructional materials which were introduced, supply of instructional materials which were introduced by the Oyinlola administration in 2007, but stopped by the Oyetola administration, was reintroduced by Adeleke administration, providing instructional materials not only to students but to teachers. Training of teachers, which has stopped in the last 6 years in Osun State, was reintroduced by Governor Ademola Adeleke. And all this cumulatively has led to an improvement in the ranking of Osun State in the National Examination Council annual ranking from 33rd. Osun was 33 in 2021. In 2025, we moved to 7. That does not happen by chance. That happens as a result of deliberate, conscious effort, programmatic action of the government to improve on education. And you all also know that when you talk about education, you cannot but talk about the welfare of teachers. We had an administration in Osun led by Alhaji Boyega Itola that had no regard whatsoever for welfare of workers, including teachers. Their morale was very low. And you now have an Adeleke who came in and decided to introduce morale boosters for teachers, giving them opportunities for training, giving them access to taking of car loans and so many other benefits that were stopped by the previous administration. And introducing a minimum wage that is the best, one of the best in the country. And all these things cumulatively, assisted in improving the quality of education in Osun State. And that ranking is not by a state-owned body, it's by a federal-owned body, the National Examination Council. It can be fact-checked from 33 when they were in government to 7 now. Our target is 1, and very soon we'll get there. So I was surprised. Now, some of these classrooms, school buildings and laboratories, I have them in pictures. I have their video. I will oblige you some of those things if you want to see them.
I would love to have that because I also wanted to know because I threw this question.
I will oblige them.
I asked him he's a federal lawmaker.
Yeah.
He has a constituency. So I asked him if the 400 classrooms, as claimed by the administration, which have been refurbished, if there's any distribution in his constituency.
Of course, they are in all federal constituencies, all local government in Osun, and he knows the truth. That's why I said I was embarrassed and very surprised that he could come on TV and tell bare-faced lies, I'm sorry to say, about this thing. These things are available in federal constituencies. Well, you can see them, you can feel them. But then he said a few other things. Well, maybe in the course of the interview, I'll be able to elucidate more on them, talk about roads, talk about so many other things, which he said were not even existent. We have the videos, we have the photographs, which I will.
On the one hand, you say that Governor Adeleke has improved the minimum wage, which is one of the best in the country. On the other hand, however, he is accused of increasing school fees by at least 70%. What's the justification for that?
There is nothing of such. I know what he made the reference to was the issue of the University of Elisha, which is the state university that this government actualized, the Adeleke administration actualized. Terry, for the first time in the history of accreditation in any federal university. You can also fact check this. The University of Elisha has accreditation for major courses like law, like medicine, like nursing, like engineering, which was very, very hard. There are some universities that have even been existing for years that don't have those accreditation because the government decided to invest heavily in standardizing that university. Now, if you're talking about school fees, you need to have a comparative basis. Now, how do you compare what is being paid in the University of Elisha? If you compare that with what is paid in Lagos State University, in universities owned by Oyo State and Ekiti State, you will find out that Osun's own is still within an average. Now, this is a public institution. We are not running it free of charge, yes, but it is wrong for him to have said that students, indigenous of Osun State cannot afford. So, who are the people who are in their thousands who are applying every year and getting?
But this is not just about him, because the National Association of Nigerian Students has also described it as anti-people and economically insensitive.
My brother,
so
that is the role of the student body. I was a student union leader myself. Yeah. Even if you make it 10 naira, you will still find people that will come. But
by 70%.
And then, no. You see, affordability is a relative term. What is affordable to one person is not affordable to another. And remember, please, Osun State has 2 universities. In other words, there are alternatives, there are options. Yeah. And if you want to have something of that quality that is being given there, in fact, that school fees or that the cost of attending University of Elisha is a highly subsidized one. Just like you have in our federal universities today, highly subsidized. Yet, of course, the student bodies, will always want the government to come down on the fees and what have you. But then there is a need for a balancing. You want to give what is right. You want to give what is quality. You want to give what is good. There is a cost attached to it. Government will still subsidize, but the subsidy will not be one that the government cannot even afford, that will then lead to a degeneration of the university itself. We are very proud, and the Ijesha people who are the custodian, the host of that university are very, very happy. I hope we can have a day of tour of the University of Elisha, and you come and see the kind of intervention which the Adeleke has done there. Like I said, that made it possible to get such degree of accreditation within a very, very short time. Only 3 years. And they have secured.
But wouldn't the governor buy into the argument that a gradual increase would have been better considering the economic situation?
Now, let me also say this. When people make this kind of statement too, it is not the state governor or the government that approves school fees. Each university has a management team. They have the Senate, they have the council of the university that does this approval, and doesn't even end at the governor's table. It doesn't even come to the governor's table. But I am saying that the present regime of fees being paid in University of Elisha compared to what is paid in other state-owned universities in the southwestern part of the country is very affordable.
In the area of agriculture, which is a big deal for the people of Osun State, Honorable Adeleke disputes the issues of the farming revolution, the agricultural revolution of the administration.
He even said there were no tractors.
Yes, he also said there were no tractors.
Maybe
the distribution? How many tractors and what's the distribution of the tractors?
Maybe he was expecting to find the tractors in the same location in which they were flagged off. Of course, there was a flag off of the tractorization of agriculture in Osun State. And for your information, that was the first time that happened since 2005, when Governor Olagunso Inola purchased tractors for the state. Between 2005 and 2024, that Governor Adeleke purchased tractors and to mechanize farming, there was no purchase of tractors, not even one, either by the Rauf Aregbesola administration or by the Gboyega Oyetola administration throughout the 12 years that they were in government. And of course, if tractors are purchased, they have to go to the various farms, they have to go to the various local government. And as we speak, these tractors, which were publicly launched, aired on television and on newspapers and what, are busy improving on the productivity of our farmers. And apart from that, the governor also initiated programs to provide input to farmers, fertilizers, improved seedlings, in collaboration with the IITA and a few other intervention agencies to ensure that the yield that comes from our farms is actually increased. And talking about he talked about farm settlement. I also had that making a comparison with what happened during the Obafemi regime. Now, I must also ask him, when his newfound political party, the All Progressive Congress, was in government under Alhaji Boyega Oyetola, they sold the farm estate. It was this government that is now trying to reclaim those farm estates. They sold them to developers of real estate, people who decided to turn those farm estates that were the legacies of the Southwest to some cronies who came in now and started developing them into housing estates and what have you. And it is the Adeleke administration that now came in to reclaim those ones that had not been, by virtue of the legal document, lost. So I think that he needs to ask questions from his own new paymasters on why they took that route.
But he's not the only one questioning it. There are those who have questioned the government for saying that initially it had paid, it was going to get 114 tractors, and the government had paid, they had paid for 414, 72 in the first batch, but only 31 were unveiled in 2024, I believe, August 30, 2024. So people are asking, where are the 114 tractors? Secondly, the question, the budget provision for it, that the 2024 agriculture budget provision was 3.7 billion naira, yet the government quoted 10 billion naira for the tractors and inputs. The APCs are saying that it doesn't add up. Also, access for farmers. They say that at the unveiling, Adeleke said tractors will be released after administrative procedures. Farmers and APC are alleging that it's a hire purchase installment process. Is that what it is?
Well, I don't have the fact on what kind of model the tractors are used to operate, but like I said, if you have a government purchase tools, the tools themselves cannot go through all the farms in Osun State. So there has to be a process where they are used, it may be on a hire or a hire purchase or whatever kind of arrangement. But the most important thing is that it is an intervention. It is a solution to a problem. And what was the problem? The problem is the lack of mechanization. The resort to hoe and cutlass farming in this century, which had happened since the last administration for Oyolola, like I said, purchased tractors. Now, if a particular sum of money is budgeted for an item, of course, you and I know that when you talk about budget, they are statement of intent. And it does not mean that the numbers that are purchased at the moment is the numbers it will stop at. Of course, if government accesses and sees that there is a gap that still needs to be filled, other items will also, or same items will also be purchased. And then don't forget, this is just one component of the farming chain. We are talking about seedlings, we are talking about fertilizers, we are talking about having extension services to farmers, which were not there. Those things were missing before the Adeleke administration came on board. And these are the things that he reintroduced. Yeah. And as we speak, talk to the farmers in Osun State, the rice farmers, cassava farmers, maize farmers. Today, it's not just by accident that most of these farming bodies are endorsing the governor for a second term. They had not seen what he did for them in the 12 years of the APC administration in Osun State. And I think that's a step forward. Yes, of course, there's more to be done. And we admit that there is more. There's always more to be done within the limit of our resources. And that more will be done both in the immediate, before the end of this administration. And of course, by the time the governor is also re-elected for a second term, there will still be more that will be done in that sector. But the truth is that so much has been done as against the neglect of agriculture, the abandonment of the farmers by the previous administration. They never gave any loan to farmers. This government came in and restored access to credit facilities for our farming communities, especially women farmers through cooperative societies. But if they now have access to credit, which they didn't have before.
If the government says it had paid for 114 tractors, and that 72 would come in the first batch, and only 31 counts, and then the opposition is questioning the details and the figures. Why has the government not responded to it?
The opposition can ask questions. In fact, it is allowed for them to ask questions. What they should not do is what Honorable Wole Oke did, denying the fact of what has been done. It is the job of the opposition to say, oh yeah, you have done this, but we expect you to do this and this and this. Yeah, they can say so, but we will again throw it back to them that when you were there, you didn't even do anything. So first give us the credit for that which you have done before you start saying that we had not done others. First acknowledge that those that you abandoned, those that you ignored in your own time of administration, we have taken them into consideration. We have provided them with platforms, programs, interventions, and support to ensure that they are able to function more optimally, which you didn't do. So that's the first point. Yeah, they are free to make suggestions. And of course, Adeleke is a very listening governor. His administration is very listening. We take all input into account in assessment, in evaluation, and in planning of whatever we need to do. But by all means, he has done far, far, far better than his predecessors in office.
All right. Another allegation against the governor is nepotism. I'm sure you're familiar with this one. From the allegations of him hiring his cousin and nephew to the one of him making himself Minister of Works.
Commissioner for Works, you mean?
Commissioner for Works, I
Yes,
beg your
President
pardon.
Bola Tinubu is the Minister of Petroleum Resources.
Yes, but the APC has gone to court with that, saying that Section 183 of the 1999 Constitution doesn't...
They should first go to court against President Bola Tinubu, who made himself Minister of Petroleum Resources. President Muhammadu Buhari was in government for 8 years, made himself a Minister of Petroleum Resources. They should first challenge that. You first remove the log in your eye before you remove the speck in somebody's eye. The governor wanted a ministry he could directly superintend over for the purpose of efficiency, effectiveness, and impact. And he has made that impact. In one of the areas where this government of Adeleke administration has made the most impact is in the area of road construction. Osho had never had it so good. Osho had never seen this level of innovation and high impact in road construction and road rehabilitation. Terry, everywhere in Osho today is a construction site, beginning from Ile-Ife, which is the source of the Yoruba race. Ile-Ife, before now, if you go there, you will hardly even know that it's an ancient town. Ile-Ife today has a flyover that is spanning several kilometers and dual carriageway spanning several kilometers. Never been. I have the picture, I have the video I will share with you. Osogbo, the state capital. Yes, Osogbo, the state capital, I had about 2 dual carriageway before now. Adeleke has embarked on dual carriageway and 2 standard flyovers in Osogbo. Now, I was shocked when Honorable Adeleke was saying that the flyovers, people were afraid to go on it. I was like, I was shaking my head.
He also said to ask if they've been commissioned.
You said what?
He also said to ask if they've been commissioned and why.
No, they have not been commissioned. The ones in Osogbo have not been commissioned. They have not been commissioned because the president said he was going to give the governor a date for commissioning.
Oh, he says it's poor quality.
No. I mean, I will give you the pictures. I will give you the video. And look, Honorable Adeleke cannot be smarter than the Nigeria Society of Engineers. Now Google this. Google Nigeria Society of Engineers, Adeleke flyover. It will come up. They came to Osun, the Society of Engineers, and gave kudos to Governor Ademola Adeleke on the quality of road construction and especially those flyovers that he was constructing by the time they came. You can see these are things that can be fact-checked. His background, he studied some law, and maybe he did some tax law or something. He can't come and make a commentary on an area where he has no competence on. The Nigeria Society of Engineers, like I said, commended the quality of work done on those flyovers, on the bridges, on the road, and it's in the public domain. It's something that anybody can fact-check and Google, and it will come up. In Ilarogun is the hometown of our father and leader, Chief Bisi Akande, the leader of the APC. No governor had ever embarked on a dual carriageway until Adeleke came in. Adeleke has embarked on a dual carriageway with street light. Iwo, these are popular towns, so I'm sure you must have heard about them. Iwo is a very big town in Osun. No government had ever gone there to say, let's have a dual carriageway. Adeleke did it. And so many other rural roads everywhere, scattered around Osun. It is the most, and so if you say he made himself the commissioner for works, and so what? He's not earning double salary. He's not being paid as a commissioner for works. He's not getting an allowance as a commissioner for works. He's still facing the job as a governor. But he says, I want to superintend over this ministry as the core ministry of my administration. And like I've said, there's nothing untoward about this, even at the federal level, like I just told you earlier. So if the APC is not happy about this, they should start the agitation from where they belong, which is in the presidency, where President Tinubu is the minister for petroleum resources.
These projects, according to Honorable Adeleke, are quite centralized, so they're selective. It's not entirely properly evenly distributed across Osun State. He said that a lot of these projects are more within, your constituency and his. He's your constituent.
He probably is far away from home. I know he doesn't come home until election period. I'm sorry to say that. So maybe because of that, he doesn't know. In his own local government, Obokun local government, there is an ongoing road project. Ilare, I will remember, to where. There is a bridge linking about 5 communities which had been abandoned for the past 15 years, which Honorable Wole Oke could not even use his influence at the National Assembly to get. It's Governor Adeleke that is fixing it. I just mentioned Iwo. Iwo is not in my federal constituency. I mentioned Ila, it's not in my federal constituency. Ile-Ife is not in my federal constituency. These are places where major road projects are happening now. These are things with pictures and video. I will share them with you. And then you talk about rural roads, of course. In Ile-Ife, there is a road, Famia, in Ife East area office in Modaeke. When the governor went to flag off that road, I remember the video. People were very emotional. They were shedding tears that they couldn't believe that any governor will remember them, because this is a road project that connects a lot of farms, rural communities where, farmers, cocoa farmers, and so many other farmers, had been abandoned before now. That is happening everywhere, including the hometown of the gubernatorial candidate of the APC in Ikire. There are road projects, not one, not two, that Governor Adeleke had done. Those are not from Egbedo federal constituency. So if Honorable Wole Oke said that, it's either he's being mischievous or apparently because he has been far away from home. Now that he's home for the purpose of coordinating the campaign of his candidate, I think he will have time to. And I challenge him, and I don't mind. I can foot the bill for him and I to go around Osun State and get television stations to go together with us and film these things, and then we know who is saying the truth and who is otherwise. And like I said, I have videos here on my phone. I have videos. I have pictures. I will send them to you. After this show.
Would like to see that. But then again, I see that as far as infrastructure is concerned, especially road, that Oshogbo, Ede, Ilesha, and Ile-Ife have gotten the biggest as far as interventions for infrastructure. Okay. Is that an issue?
It's not an issue. I mean, how is it an issue? I mean, again, you look at the population of some of these places you are talking about. He talked about Ede as if Ede is one village. Ede has a population of more than 300,000 people. Far more than that. Then talk of Egbedo, talk of Ejibu, then talk of Ile-Ife, like I told you, which is the heritage, the origin of the Yoruba race, the cradle of the Yoruba race. It's an ancient town. It should take attention, and it's getting attention. Oshogbo is the capital of Osun State. As we speak, there are 2 flyover bridges in Oshogbo alone. Out of these many flyover that the government is constructing, there are 2 major ones in Oshogbo. That's the capital. That's the state capital. That's the face of the state where people come in. And so if the APC or Wole Oke is not happy that we are developing Oshogbo, we are developing Ile-Ife, let them go out and tell the people of this local government not to vote for them, that Adeleke is concentrating resources on you, and so they are envious or jealous or whatever. Then that's up to them.
Honorable Wole Oke said is questioning the industries in Osun State. He wants to know why, or better still, what industries have been set up by the Adeleke administration, and also what sort of investment that have come to Osun State since the Adeleke administration.
All right, I remember that he said that in relation to the issue of the IGR, because probably he also felt embarrassed that the internal generated revenue of the state, which they left at about 24 billion, is almost 60 billion naira now annually. We met it at 20-something billion without increasing taxes, without introducing new rates. All that this government did is to block leakage. I'll give you just one example. Osun has a very good, a very rich deposit of gold. Terry, you won't believe it that for the whole period that Alhaji Boyega Oyetola and the APC was in government for 4 years, they never earned rate and taxes from the gold deposit in Osun State. They never earned, at least for the state. We heard that there was a lot of underdealings, by some individuals and some family members and what have you. I don't want to go into that. But this government came in, and one of the first things that we did was say, no, it does not work this way. Even though mining is on the exclusive legislative list of the federal government, it does not mean that if you do business in our state, you will not pay taxes. And we made the major players in that sector to pay taxes even in arrears. The Federal Minister of Mines, I want to thank him for intervening at a particular point in time when there was that dispute between the state government and one of the major players in that sector. And so many other leakages of revenue were blocked by the Adeleke administration. To the extent that as we speak for this year, we are looking at an IGR of close to 90 billion naira at the end of this year, from 22 billion that it was when they were in government. So probably those were the things that he felt so intimidated about, and he began to talk about new industry. Government don't build industries. What government does, which this government has done, is providing the enabling environment for businesses to thrive.
Has that happened?
Both, of course that's happened.
So
one of such, let me tell you, is in the issue of application and obtaining of certificate of occupancy. When Governor Adeleke came on board, for about 3 years, issuance of certificate of occupancy have been frozen by the government. They were no longer doing it. They have piles of applications awaiting the governor's accent by virtue of the Nigerian Constitution, which was not given. Adeleke automated and simplified the process to the extent that most people that are establishing businesses today it's easy for them to come in, to obtain their certificate of occupancy, which is the title that people need to establish. And all over Osun, including Ijeshala, where Adeleke is coming from, there are businesses springing up, medium scale businesses, processing of mineral resources, agro-based industries, and so many other activities happening all over Osun State. As we speak, there's a food processing factory that is in my own federal constituency. There are quite a number of them that are coming up. But maybe, like I said, he felt a little bit embarrassed that what they could not do when the APC was in government, Adeleke had done, had even exceeded, what the expectations were in the last 3 years.
When you talk about revenue generation, it almost seems like Governor Adeleke couldn't care less about the LG funds, even though the government says that. Adeleke clearly said that those funds have been released to the APC local government chairman and not
Terry, this is one of the saddest aspects of governance in Nigeria. I've never seen this kind of impunity, this kind of rule of man over the rule of law in my life. For a set of people who said they were elected. Terry, the All Progressive Congress was in government in Osun for 12 years. For 12 years, they never conducted local government election for 1 day. 12 years, sir. You heard me well. 12. They never conducted local government election. Until after the people of Osun State voted out Alhaji Boyega Oyetola and voted in Adeleke. In between the time of the election and the time of the swearing in, Governor Oyetola quickly just woke up and said he was going to conduct local government election in September. The Electoral Act 2022, which was the applicable law then, said he should give a notice of 360 days. He gave 60 days notice to organize an election and fixed September for the election. He was to be, the swearing was in November. He held that election and agreed political parties went to court. Adeleke never, again, that was another lie that Honorable Adeleke told on this program, that Adeleke dissolved them. He never dissolved any local government. They were dissolved by the Federal High Court in Osogbo and affirmed by the Court of Appeal in Akure. Do you know what? In spite of that, today, those people that were sacked by court are being forcefully enthroned in local government administration with policemen guarding them every day to be doing the charade they are doing. I've never seen that before, and I'm actually embarrassed that can happen in Yoruba land.
But what laws are they operating and spending funds? Because I know that the State Assembly makes laws.
Yes, they disregard the law of the State Assembly. They even disregarded the convention and party of law. I was a local government chairman. No politician signs checks. The president of Nigeria doesn't sign check. The governors don't sign check. They are the ones signing checks and taking out money. Politicians, I have never seen that before. They are directors of finance, director of personnel management, who are statutory signatories to local government account. Today in Osun, what is happening is unbelievable. And I'm embarrassed, like I said, that this should happen in Yoruba land and under the presidency of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a man who had fought all his life for the enthronement of rule of law, of democracy, and good governance, to look on, and people will just be sitting down. In any case, we even said, assuming without considering that they had a tenure, That tenure had purportedly even expired as far back as October of last year. Till today, they are still going to that office. Policemen will guard. Nobody comes to do business with them. They are the one. And signing out checks and paying themselves all manner of allowances and paying people all manner of money.
We hear that they are also carrying out infrastructure projects.
It's unbelievable. Which infrastructure project? Which project? They are not doing any project. The governor is the one that is doing all the projects the local government to do. And let me also tell you this. The governor, in spite of the seizure of those funds, still pays local government workers. He pays primary health care workers. He pays primary school teachers. Those are responsibilities of the local government. Because if he doesn't pay, of course, these people will be at the receiving end. Imagine, an average teacher not receiving salary for the past 1 year, or pensioners not receiving their money. He pays that from the state government allocation till today, because he believes very strongly that one day the truth will prevail and light will shine above darkness.
Honorable, do you think that the issue of ghost workers will work against Governor Adeleke?
How will it work against Governor Adeleke? The issue of ghost workers will work rather against them. Governor Adeleke came into office and instituted a process of auditing the workforce. And the auditing, because of the way it was handled by the consultant, began to generate a lot of controversy because she was not applying a lot of emotional intelligence to the work. She went on, began to fight with people, apparently driven by the need to, because it's a no gain, no pay contract. And she wanted to ensure that at the end of the day, she could say, oh yes, we discovered this XYZ, and ran into problem with the labor, ran into problem with the Nigerian Union of Teachers, with the university workers and what have you. And the governor said, okay, you know what, conclude this exercise and let's have a review by a technical committee that will have representative of this book. The auditing, when you talk about auditing, usually auditing is of the past. It was an audit of the Oyetola administration, it was an indictment of the Oyetola administration. If there was any indictment.
So that's exactly why people are now querying why the government is disputing the outcome of the result.
The governor in his own signature wrote to ICPC and EFCC to come in. Now, because the governor is not a man given to vindictiveness, if they were the one, I know what they would have done with that report. The governor said, no, yes, you have brought a report indicting the past administration of overbloating the civil service. Your process was also controversial. You had, brawl with so many people. All these things are online. You can see them where the civil servants were shouting on the, let's have a review. But the woman didn't want a review. All she wanted was the payment. And we said, no, we are not a government of that. If it were some other government, it's just a matter of meeting the governor and saying, you know what, sign off on this report, give me my money, and then let me give you this percentage. Ademola Adeleke is not like that. He's in Osun to serve. And he said, no, we have to subject this report to further scrutiny so that at the end of the day, all will be seen to have done justice to everyone concerned. And it was at that point that the consulting firm pulled back and began, to do all the drama that they began to do. But the governor himself, he sent the letters. He wrote to EFCC and asked me to come and investigate this matter. If he had anything to hide, he wouldn't do that.
Okay, fair enough. Another aspect that's the question that the governor is being questioned on is his spending on entertainment. I recall
on entertainment.
You have a budget for it. It's about 700 billion.
Oh, okay.
700 million, I beg your pardon. 700 million on entertainment for just 2024 alone.
Okay.
Is that not outrageous?
But do you know what is captured when you have a budget that talks about entertainment?
Perhaps you'll explain that.
Okay, well, of course, government holds programs.
Yes.
Government holds events. Government serves drinks, serves snacks. The government house hosts people. Various ministry departments and agencies host events. Those events are serviced. What is the entertainment budget of the federal government? What's the entertainment budget of Lagos State, where APC has governed all the world? You will find out that this one is even very modest. And let me now shock you, Terry. This amount of money you found in the budget, I can bet with you that not up to 40% of this amount will be eventually spent by the Adeleke administration, because the governor is a very, very prudent man. In fact, some people will say he's too prudent, for a governor, because he doesn't believe that in spending money, for the sake of it. So if you look at it, and that is why, again, I come to the issue of the Budget Foundation report, where the Budget Foundation ranked Osun as one of the best in terms of fiscal transparency in Nigeria. In fact, they gave Osun 100 out of 100. This is by no means a mean feat. Anybody can dispute it. The Budget Foundation has built a credibility and integrity on this program, ranked Osun State last year as one of the best in terms of fiscal transparency in Nigeria. Now, if the government had been engaged in wasteful spending, underhand dealing, and violation of Procurement Act like they did when they were in government in Osun State, he wouldn't achieve, this.
Honorable, let's talk about health care now. And I also want you to talk about it in regard to the distribution as far as health care is concerned in the state, because not only did Honorable Adeleke say that the government has failed in the area of health care, he also questioned the refurbishment of these healthcare facilities that the government claims.
All right. You see, what I will do, like I told you, is that I will also share with you a slide where the primary healthcare centers renovated by the administration, I will show you the state in which we met these facilities and the pictures of what they are now. We met a situation where primary health centers had become, they are not consulting centers, they had actually been abandoned. There were no beds, no medical facilities, no electricity. And the governor decided to embark on a phased rehabilitation of this primary care. If I'm not mistaken, over 300 of that had been done, as we speak, providing them with solar light, rehabilitating them generally, beddings, putting drugs and medicines there, equipping them with stuff. And do you know the result of that? Again, maybe they would dispute this. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, a global organization which nobody can fault, has scored Osun best in primary health care center twice. In fact, once we came second, once we came first in the Southwest, and gave a sum of $500,000 as the award. Anybody can Google it. Just Google Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation Primary Health Care Osun. It will come up. These are facts in the public space, but they want to deny it. If nothing had happened, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation will not come and do that ranking, giving Osun that award as having performed very well in primary health care. And the spread is even everywhere around Osun. I will give you the list, and I will show you the pictures of what they were when we came. In fact, there was a day the governor went to one of the primary health care centers in Oshogbo, the capital of Osun, and it was almost a very teary scene. There were people that were on bed, and the bed was broken, and then they were hanging the, what's it called now, the drip that they were going to pass on people. And he said, what is this? Now today, go to the same center. That health center is in Isale Osun, I think, in Oshogbo, Osun State. Go there today and see the state of the health center. They now have constant power supply because he has taken them off the national grid and fixed solar power there so that they could operate 24/7, changed all the equipment there, and more than 60% of the primary health care centers in Osun. And this has been validated also by the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, a federal government agency. National Primary Healthcare Development Agency has validated this fact that in the southwestern part of Nigeria, Osun is leading in primary healthcare. This don't happen by accident. That's what they don't know. They happen by being conscious, by being deliberate, by being intentional, into making those impacts.
All right, we're almost out of time now, but I really hope that we can get those images.
I will surely forward them to you. I will do that.
Well, I want to ask you a question. As far we see governors defecting to the APC, a little bit politics now. Governors defecting to the APC. We heard at some point that Governor Adeleke was refused from joining the APC. Honorable Adeleke confirms that by saying that the APC didn't find him competent enough to join the party. Was that the case at any point?
All right. Let me tell you that for the first question on whether he was refused to join the APC, I'll answer that in the affirmative. The answer is yes. But on why he was refused, it was because some people didn't want to lose the title of leader. They want to continue to be leader of the APC. And they know when a governor comes, a populist governor like Adeleke, a performing governor, by the convention of the APC, he becomes the leader of the party. And the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Alhaji Itola, doesn't want to lose that title. That title mattered more to him than the value of having a sitting governor, a performing governor in the All Progressive. But all things work together for good. That's my belief. I will not say more than that. He's in the accord now, even though he has declared that he was going to support the president in 2027 for the presidential election. He has said that often and often, and those of us who are with him have no problem with that. But the governorship election will be the testing ground of whether that decision that they took was a wise decision after all. When Adeleke, don't forget in the last election, even when he was out of government, he won 17 out of the 30 local government when he was not in government. He won 9 out of 10 local government when he was contesting for the Senate. This time around, you will see what will happen in Osun State. And then they can continue to carry the title of leader, wherever they are. But I know the president is a politician. I know he knows that titles don't make much difference in politics. It is the vote. It's the vote you can bring in.
When you speak about Governor Adeleke throwing his weight behind the president, saying he will support the president in 2027, how do you feel hearing the president not reciprocating that? I say that because when Bamidele emerged as a flag bearer, the president said, go and reclaim Osun State for us.
Well, the president is a member of the All Progressive Congress. He can give a charge to their candidate. And perhaps also he doesn't know that they have a weakling as a candidate. He cannot even deliver his own local government, Terry. They can't deliver a real local government where their candidate comes from. I'm on national television. I don't know which 4 local governments they can win in Osun. I don't know. The way things stand today, this governor, Adeleke, has earned the trust of the people. He has earned their love everywhere in Osun. And they know. They know. We have access to some of the commission reports that they did. And the report that came back to them was very shocking for them. They know that if elections hold today in Osun and it is free and fair, there is no way they will win 4 local government. There's no way.
Is that what you see?
Where would they wear it from?
No, I mean, as far as free and fair election is concerned, is that what you see happening? Because 2 things. One, there's always the federal might for off-season elections, and then now there's a situation with the
Well, we are watching, and we are not also going to sleep. People can bring in whatever federal might they want to bring. The people of Osun State are not cowards. The people of Osun State are not, they are very literate, they are very conscious, and they are very, very determined. They are very, very courageous. If anybody brings anything that is not acceptable, the people of Osun State will reject it. We are not just we are not slaves. We are all owners of the patrimony called Yoruba land. We are all sons and daughters of Osun. So nobody should think that he owns Osun more than the other because he controls one federal might somewhere. It will not happen. It will not happen. Elections will hold, the votes will be counted, and the winners will be declared. And I think it is also in the best interest of the president to allow that to happen, because this is also a test for him to see how well he stands by the reputation of him being a Democrat. He said recently that he is a die-hard Democrat. This is the test. As a die-hard Democrat, give an instruction to the security agencies, allow INEC to be independent, give them instruction to allow free and fair contest, and then let's see who comes out victorious at the end of the day. After all, the 2 parties are yours. APC and Accord, they said 2027 we are supporting Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and we have no problem with that. I'm not even sure that our political party, I don't know the Accord, I don't know yet, has a presidential candidate. I can't speak for the party, but I'm saying we have no problem with that. So it's a test also for the president to allow or to demonstrate he's been a die-hard Democrat, as he has said repeatedly. Let the vote of the people of Osun State count. And whichever way it goes, let winners emerge, let losers accept their fate and wait for another time. That is how democracy works.
Let me quickly take your attention to something we've seen on social media repeatedly, with people questioning if Governor Adeleke is indeed the one handling the affairs of the state, or his elder brother, Adeleke. How does that sound to you?
It sounds ridiculous. Whoever says that doesn't know Governor Adeleke. They see him from afar. That's the image people see from afar. They see one jolly good fellow, who loves to dance and what have you. But I'm telling you, you are not seeing the man who is a man of himself. And again, people who don't understand, the workings of the Adeleke family. And the Adeleke family is a blessed family. I pray to have that kind of a family. I'm not despising the family I come from, but I'm saying I pray that the kind of grace that they have. And what is the grace? The father was a senator in the First Republic. His elder brother was a senator and the first governor of Osun State, his elder brother. He was a senator and now the 6th governor of the state. The elder brother they are mentioning, the Adeleke, to the glory of God, He's a successful businessman, entrepreneur. You talk about David Adeleke, Davido, of course. I don't need to say anything about that. Everybody knows him. Now they are a blessed family, and they are all very busy in their own various enterprise or work that they do. Dr. Deji Adeleke is too busy to meddle in the affairs of Osho. But if you ask me, is he interested in the success of his brother? Of course, yes. He's interested. And the interest he has declared openly at one of the convocations of Adeleke University in Ede that before the governor was sworn in. He said, if you mess up as the governor of Osho, I will be the first person to host a press conference to denounce you. What does it mean by messing up? If you spoil our family name, if you don't perform, if you turn there and become a despot, or you turn there and you become somebody who is just particular about making wealth. If you do any of those, I will denounce you. Now, who out of the people that are in power today have anybody who is their mentor, or sponsor, or elder brother who can courageously say that before the whole camera? But to the fact that he's running Osho, how is he running Osho? A man who is maybe 2 weeks in Nigeria, 2 weeks in the United States, busy with his own business and enterprise. He doesn't have time for all that, but he's interested in the success of his brother, and he should. If he's not, then we should feel that there's a problem.
Honorable Salam, just quickly before we go, as far as the REC is concerned, what's the action that the Accord Party will take just in case the former REC Mutiu is not returned?
Well, I don't speak for the party, but as a party man, I know that the party has rejected that redeployment, and we are saying that it has no basis, and we are rejecting, the woman from Ondo State who is being brought because she's embroiled in so many controversies. Even in Ondo State, she's very controversial. Okay. We don't want a controversial hand to come and handle our election in Osun State. So as a party, we reject that decision, and we stand by that rejection.
Honorable, I'd like to thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Terry, for having me. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Well, I've been speaking with Honorable Bamidele Salam. He is a member of the Accord Party. He's a member of the House of Representatives. He represents Egbedore Ejigbo Federal Constituency. We've been speaking on the forthcoming Osun governorship election scheduled for the 15th of August. It's almost here. Well, early, his response is to Honorable Oluwole Oke following the interview we had last week. So if you'd like to catch that and this, please go to YouTube and search Political Paradigm, or simply go to channelstv.com. I'm Terry Kumi. Goodbye.